Welcome to All Things Moore County, Moore County's weekly radio show highlighting the many facets of the Sandhills. That includes real estate, lifestyles, community, and neighborhoods. And now, from 4 Properties, here's your host, Bill Sahadi.
Good morning and welcome to the talk show, All Things Moore County. February is upon us. Believe it or not, people are now on social media counting down to spring. It is so funny how people in this area say 50 days to spring or 30 days to this or 20 days to that. But there are a lot of new changes going on in Moore County in the entertainment field. And today we're going to be speaking about a club called Reflections, which just had its grand opening this past weekend. It is both music, it's dinner, sort of like a speakeasy, and it's located over at the Wyndham, the Days Inn by Wyndham, which is just short of Morganton Road off Highway 1, very visible to a lot of people who are from Moore County. And we have 3 guests who are going to be speaking with us all about the club because they just came off their first Friday and Saturday opening. We're going to be speaking with Executive Chef Charles, Talent Manager Mary Grace, and Management Operator Judith Kronin, who has been on the show in the past. And Judith, since you have been on the show in the past, you get first crack at the mic this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Excellent.
I've been following social media and looking at some of your emails. Tell me about Reflections.
Oh, it's really something that's long overdue. It speaks to the 30 and over crowd, and it's a club that offers entertainment, excellent food, and an intimate setting where you can mix and mingle with your friends and just feel comfortable and relaxed.
When I moved here in 1999, one of the biggest complaints about the places to go socially always was there was really nowhere for women just to go to by themselves, just to have a drink, just to feel comfortable and not to be, accosted or whatever it is that they say. But this is both for couples, for singles.
Absolutely. And one of the things that came out of this past weekend is people were saying, I found my spot.
Really?
This is where I'm going to hang out. This is where I'm going to go. And I have people that say after a long week, they just have no place to just kind of, calm down, to just relax, to just have a nice drink with friends. And this is that place. And also some of the best entertainment. I'm from New York, so jazz is my thing. And this past weekend, we had one of the best, and Reggie Codrington. And people were so excited to experience live entertainment, live jazz. And he is a jazz musician, and we had a ball. He was just an excellent person to open.
So where's he from?
He lives in Fayetteville, and he is an international musician, and he's actually played with Frankie Beverly and Mays, and just really quite a background.
So you also have a talent agent here, talent manager, Mary Grace.
Yes, sir.
You're originally from this area, but you have come back and forth to it from Atlanta?
Yes, sir, because most of my talent's based in Atlanta. Atlanta is our Hollywood East now that North Carolina has cut off our film incentive.
Yeah, so are you the recruiter of talent, both locally and outside?
Executive Chef Charles and I do that together.
Okay.
But he'll find the talent, and then I follow up and I handle the talent throughout their performance.
Okay. Had you been familiar with the musicians that were in this weekend prior to this weekend?
No, sir. It's a learning experience for me, but
right.
I loved them. They were great. They were excellent, and personally, they were just really wonderful people.
Yeah.
Reggie brought on his father, Ray, who's a musician in his own right.
I stopped by Friday late afternoon, and I poked my head into the club. And I have to tell you, once you walk through the door, it's very intimate.
Yes, sir.
It's very classy, and it's almost like it has nothing to do with the lobby and the building that it's in. It's almost like you're stepping out of the building into another world. And you walk in and you're completely entranced by the ambiance, and it's small. It's
Yes.
not large.
Yes.
So
it's definitely intimate. It's an intimate experience that we're having.
Right. So you had 3 shows over the weekend.
Yes, sir. One at 5:30, 8 p.m. on Friday, and one at 8 p.m. on Saturday.
And the way it was set up, this first time out, there were dinners. You served dinner, the music, the whole event. How long does an evening last? 2-3 hours?
I think we went to 9:30 p.m.
Okay.
Right on the dot for both shows.
So I've been looking at social media a lot, and I hear about Chef Charles this and Chef Charles that, and I'm like ready to get this guy's autograph. And he walks in today, and I can see why. I want to say good morning to you.
Good morning, and thanks for having us.
Even though you started out in Moore County, you left Moore County but have come back.
Yes, I was in L.A. I worked with celebrity chef Bill Brown, and from L.A., I wanted to come back here. My mom is from here.
She is.
So I want to do something big and exciting here in Moore County now.
So you were one of the first graduates of the Pinehurst Culinary School?
That is correct. I graduated with 4.0 GPA at Pinehurst, and with that, they sent me to Boca, where I trained at Boca Raton. I'm French trained, so I cooked at Top of the Tower in Boca Raton. And that was a big, big deal for me, coming from small town of Pinehurst. So I was excited for that.
So there's something really exciting about new beginnings and starting over, right, and doing your own thing.
That is correct. I worked for corporate America for about 25 years.
I'm sorry.
I love it. I came back here from L.A. by way of Atlanta, and U.S. Kids Golf made me their executive chef. And they gave me an opportunity for Moore County to really rediscover who Chef Charles is. I'm honored. I want to thank U.S. Kids Golf for giving me an opportunity to be their executive chef. And my tenure ended 1st of January.
Okay.
I put my team together, and we're right here right now, Reflections.
You call them your team of angels?
I call them my team of angels, Charlie's Angels.
Really?
Yes.
That makes sense. That goes. So tell me about the food.
What
are people going to find?
What I try to do is fuse American, French together.
Okay.
You want a great steak? We make the best steak. You want great fish? We make the best fish. You want great seafood? We make the best seafood. Great chicken dish, and we mix it up with those meat groups and give different varieties of meals from that. I create from that. So. And we finish it off with me coming out doing Bananas Foster, tableside.
Nice. So there is a definite feel to the room. I have to tell you. It was 5 o'clock or 4:30 when I was there. It was still light out. But you walk in the room and it's instantly evening. And you're transported away from the day-to-day grind.
Well, we wanted to keep that nostalgia that's missing. My audience is 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and forward. And that type of clientele, remember that. And we just want to keep it there and keep the ambiance of that, the look, whether you in Chicago or Atlanta or L.A. or in New York when they had those type, or Vegas. We want to be on that trend of that dinner and a show, Vegas style. The men wear jackets when they come in. It's a good look. And the food is 5-star, and the service is 5-star.
Okay. With your personality, I'm hoping you come out of the kitchen to meet some of the guests, because they're going to probably want to talk to you.
Oh, man, I enjoy that. I do come out. And we keep it intimate. One of my mentors was Chef Bill Brown, and again, in L.A., he's a rock star out there. He mingles with the guests; they love him, and it's part of the show.
And you also probably have an opportunity to mentor some of your staff, which is a privilege to be able to do, right? When you've reached whatever pinnacle you've reached, then you can sort of pass it on to the next generation.
That is correct. I'm an educator. I believe in training and passing it on, and I live by that, because that's how I got to where I'm at. People took time for me and guided me the right way in the culinary hotel restaurant business.
So Judy, my guess is you had your ear to the wall during all three events, all three shows, and you were listening to the feedback from the guests who came in. What were they saying about the food?
They were saying that it was excellent. They talked about, the fish being delicious. And they said, you thought the fish was delicious. I was concerned about the steak because he's preparing so many. And not one person sent a steak back. That is saying so much about the food. So it was a really, really thrilling experience to, have the food and also to watch other people enjoy.
Right. And the presentation of the food?
Oh, the presentation was beyond words. I mean, it was just incredible. I think that was part of the enjoyment, just watching just how the food was presented. It was just lovely.
Yeah, I see people all the time, presenting food on social media. And, some of the things you see are really impressive. Other things you go, why are people posting pictures of the asparagus they made for dinner? But the really nice meals, I mean, they look like art. But the good thing, as I was reading some of the tidbits, was that you're not guys can come in a casual jacket. It's not required. This is not formal.
It's not formal, but you must wear a jacket.
Okay, well that's okay. But open collar.
Open collar.
Okay, you just got about half of the men in Moore County now back to listening, because I don't know what it is about ties and eating. It's a little restrictive.
Yeah. One of the things you mentioned, Bill, that was interesting was the education that's taking place with Chef Charles. That's one of the things I noticed, and I'm, being an educator, I was really into the way he spoke to the waiters in terms of telling the waitresses how they had to be poised with their backs arched and eye contact with the clients. It was just wonderful to watch him educate those young people. Right.
It's a show. There's a music show, and then there's the food show.
Absolutely.
That is correct. Because we're going to be honest. I'm waiting for the food critics to come, because that's what I live for, and we're going to do things by the book. So, like I said, I have a great team, and you're not going to always get it right, but we will correct what we have to correct.
Right. So we have a lot of people who move into this area from the Northeast, from New York, Washington, and there's nothing that I can see on the horizon that's out there that offers people this type of option.
That is so true. That is so true. And that's what we've been hearing repeatedly.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for a place like this.
Right. So as far as Mary Grace, the musical genres that you're going to be presenting, Judy mentioned jazz.
Yes, so we have jazz. We're going to be doing blues, soul, R&B, bossa nova, and so music genres that speak to this time and to our audience members. Yes. So we're going to build around our patronage, our patrons.
I want to introduce you to a lady who was on Jordan Crawford. She organized a benefit concert at the Railhouse Brewery back in November for people in northern Moore County who suffered mightily from Hurricane Florence. She brought all her musician friends in, and they all put on a benefit concert. Her talent she's incredible. You mentioned blues, you mentioned some of the things that she does, and she had met a friend of mine, John Constantini, who has a musical group, and they were doing a gig at Pine Wild Country Club, and he listened to her, and he hired her right then and there, and I think they kind of hooked up. Because there is a lot of musical talent in the area, it just sort of flies under the radar.
Yes.
So you're going to be looking both inside Moore County, but also outside.
Oh, definitely. We want. Some of the people that we've already booked, they're coming from Atlanta. So we are looking to.
Right.
We want to highlight those who are here, but we're also bringing talent from all over.
How do you rectify the high cost of bringing the musical talent in and keeping, the prices at the door, so to speak, moderate inviting?
Well, I
Charles?
meet with all the artists before I pass them to my agent. I've been networking with the artists that I know, and I have great connections. They're expensive, but they want us to win here in Moore County because
Right.
there's nothing like that. So I worked out a good recurrence
Okay.
deal with the artists.
Okay.
So, and they believe in paying forward.
Okay.
So that's where we are with that.
What is the seating capacity of the Reflections Lounge?
We're capacity at 50 for seating.
So it is very intimate.
Yes, sir.
So in Moore County, you probably know this. You can go out to eat, and you can run into 3 or 4 people that you know right away, right? Judy,
Correct.
coming from New York, how long have you lived here?
This is 3.5 years for me.
So that kicks in, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Where you go out, everyone has to be on their best behavior. But it also looks like a place that would cater to groups. You get 4, 5 couples together.
And there's quite a few dinner clubs that meet, and one of the things that they mentioned is that they will be using our particular
Facility.
lounge. Yeah.
Have you been in touch with the Pinehurst Newcomers Club?
Have we? I don't think so.
That would be huge.
Okay.
There are people who move here and they don't have to live in Pinehurst per se, but there are couples who are young retired couples who come here and they have all sorts of socials, in-house socials, wine tastings, this and that. But the dinner club would be something that could be, because I guess you'll be doing group
Absolutely.
marketing.
You know, we really want to kind of meet the needs of our community. And with that in mind, we also want to mention to you, Bill, that, you know, we always want to think in terms of giving back. And 2 of the charities that we're going to be working with are breast cancer, and also we're going to be working with a local church in this area, Trinity AME Zion Church. So
Yep.
the outreach program. So we're looking to make sure that we're an intimate part of the community also.
Okay. Mary Grace, you've got a lineup already that takes you right through almost the end of February.
Yes, sir.
With different musical talent.
Yes, sir.
You want to tell me a
we
little
have
bit about
Anna Elizabeth. She's a part of the Murphy family. She'll be coming. She's a
beautiful
vocalist.
and talented?
Yes, sir.
I've seen her. Beautiful and talented.
Yes, sir. Her father will be on the keys
Proud father.
this February 1st and 2nd,
Mm-hmm.
as well as February 15th. She'll be here. She's from Atlanta now. And we also have Willie Mintz. And we also have the Magic Horns,
Okay.
who is Gary Ellis. And those one of Willie's from Fayetteville, and Gary's from Atlanta as well.
And then you have something in there called Sounds of a Masterpiece?
Yes, he does. He also does jazz music.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And
Thank you.
but we picked one genre to fit the poster. However, these are musicians. You know, they'll be able to cater to what the audience is showing and what they're responding to, and pick their set list from there.
Yeah. As the generations in Moore County get older, there's a real big push for nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to Sirius Radio, you have stations set up for different time periods because of the people of different ages. I listen to I won't even tell you I listen to the 60s. But that's why I was saying to you before we taped about Linda Ronstadt. You were not 19 or 20 when her albums came out, but I was. Okay. But people, period music, music from different eras, to encourage theme shows, right? I mean, I'm not part of your team, but this is exciting.
Yeah.
It is. It really is exciting.
But you
And
can
we
come
enjoy
on.
working we enjoy working
Yeah,
with each other.
definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
We definitely get a good vibe from each other, and we tend to be very supportive, and we know how to stay in our own lane and, you know, give the person that has the expertise in a particular area the opportunity to do their own thing.
You know, that expression, stay in your own lane, I just saw that on TV on a tattoo commercial or an insurance commercial, and I never heard that expression before. Stay in your own lane, which means you do what you do, and stay with what you're good at and let the other person do what they do.
Exactly.
Yeah. How did the three of you meet? How did you all hook up?
Well,
Where was this born from?
Well, I won't tell my story because I'm honored to meet Doc and Mary again. I was executive chef at U.S. Kids Golf, and I'm gonna plug U.S. Kids Golf because we do Sunday brunch over there.
Yeah.
And Doc and her husband and her daughters and her family was eating, and they had read about me in the paper, so they wanted to come see who Chef Charles was. And they came over, ate my food, and they been consistent coming, and we started
Every
talking.
Sunday.
Yeah, we started talking, and I just started talking to her, letting her know what my future was. And she said, "Well, I'll follow you and see what you do." Mary Grace, their dad, and them, they came over to eat. Longleaf, the fried chicken, the food, all that stuff they ate. And her agent, she's an agent, and her talent I knew from the family. So again, they wanted me to partner with them and do some stuff. December 22nd, I did a private dinner with her singing at the Outreach, and that's where we hooked up, and we just never looked back. You know, I knew I had to have her or partner with her, and I knew I had to have Doc, Miss Judy, to partner with her to help me be who I really can be in this town.
Mary Grace says that your chicken wings are just okay.
No, sir.
Oh no!
She said they're
no.
just okay.
You know, you can't mess with a chef. You know, the chef has egos and all that stuff. But
So they're better than just okay.
The chicken wings are amazing. I am a chicken wing connoisseur. I've been many places. I love chicken wings, but I've had executive chef Charles's chicken wings, and you're not going to find anything better in Moore County.
Yeah.
So what's great, after our 2 shows on Fridays and Saturday, we reset after the 8 p.m. show, and then we're open to the public at 10 p.m. where we'll be served. It's a full bar. The best chicken wings in Moore County, and live and music, whether it's live or we have a DJ come in. We clear out the first floor, so that becomes a dance area.
That's
and
a
then
great idea.
The second floor will still have tables and seats for people who just want to mingle with their friends.
Is it too early to do something tomorrow for Super Bowl? It's so quick.
we plan on being open. We're here for the public now, so we're gonna do something for Super Bowl. Stay tuned.
That's only tomorrow. We have
Right.
24 hours notice.
Yeah, and you can follow us on social media to make sure you stay tuned. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. It's Reflections SOPI, Reflections spelled correctly, and then SOPI for Southern Pines.
Perfect. I was going to ask you about the contact information, and I will say this about Judy. She's representative of a lot of people who have moved to Moore County who have been here less than 5 years, and is proof that you can, in this community, cast out your net and start to make connections very quickly, as opposed to an urban area. She might have gotten lost in Atlanta, and you guys might never have met.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's easy to network in this area. Yes.
Right.
And I also would like to kind of mention the selected menu, because I think that was one of the key reasons for our success this past weekend. And that filet mignon was one entree, the salmon was the second, and the stuffed chicken breast was a third in the vegan dish. And I think that limited menu was just perfect because it really met everyone's needs. I mean, there was just something there for everyone.
Mm-hmm. So at this point, when you have these special events, plan these musical events, it's reservations only?
But we're flexible.
Okay.
We're flexible. We're just getting started, and we are here for the people. So we go with the flow. We want to know. We have a limited seating of 50, so we want to make sure
Right.
that we have those seats filled. But we're flexible.
And
Yeah,
we're
Charles?
also on Eventbrite. So we email, we're on the phones talking to people calling us, hey, do you have seats left for Friday night, first show, second show? So
Right.
we have an office that we have people on our phone lines for tickets and orders and stuff like that. Mary Grace handles that as well. So
Okay.
we have a call center actually set up at my house. So we're on top of everything, and we coordinate with the two. I coordinate with the two angels so we don't overbook.
Do you just call them like Angel number 1 and Angel number 2? Do you go by like Judy and Mary Grace? No?
I go by Doc
Okay.
and Mary Grace.
Okay. The club is called Reflections. It is in the Days Inn by Wyndham. It's just short of Morganton Road on Highway 1. It's a very visible site to a lot of people in Moore County who have been here, forever. And you're starting your second weekend this weekend, and we wish you the very best of luck. And we'll be looking for things on social media. Charles, I want to thank you for coming in. I didn't get the autograph yet, but I want to thank you. He smiled.
I just want to feed you.
You do?
Yeah, I want to feed you and everybody in Moore County.
So there's something very maternal about that. You know that, right?
All right, sounds good.
You're good.
I'm good.
Yeah, Mary Grace, want to appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and I will get in touch with you and get you Jordan's name. And
Jordan, if you're out there, I'd love to meet you.
Jordan is also a conduit, and she will be able to put you in touch with a lot. Oh my gosh, that's what she did for the benefit concert at Rail House Brewery. It was from noon to midnight. All these different musical groups that came in.
Jordan, let's meet.
Yeah, you're going to hook up with Jordan. And Judy, it's great to see you again.
Oh, thank you for having us. It's just been a pleasure to do this.
Reflections, dinner club, supper club, music club, you can call it what you want. It is a very cool venue off the hotel lobby, and wish you guys nothing but the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to be back in the second set, and we're going to be speaking with Jill Saunders. And Jill is 10 years out now from starting something that has grown, and you will be able to see what she's done and maybe take notes. It's because she's been very successful, and we're going to be talking about the annual SHAMROCKnROLL RACE. This is All Things Moore County. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the second and final set of Moore County. We're going to do this in 2 sets today just because of the nature of our guests. Jill Saunders has been a past guest on the show over the years. Jill is known for a lot of things in Moore County. She is the owner of the Ace Hardware stores, which opened in Whispering Pines and most recently in West End. But her name is also very strongly affiliated with the SHAMROCKnROLL RACE, which has sort of become like a calendar item each spring. It's a run that she's going to talk about, and I think that the SHAMROCKnROLL race is now scheduled this year for March the 16th, and it's the 11th year you've been doing this.
It is.
This is something that you started in a very organic way, didn't it?
Yeah, quite organic, yes. And
how did it all start?
Started when I was on the PTA board at Sandhills Farm Life, and we were looking for something different, something to kind of promote healthy lifestyles and get the kids active. And races were big then, but not nearly what they are now, even at least around here. So it gets to be a little bit saturated in some ways, but back then it was very green for us, and it just took off.
And the demographics in the last 11 years have made a dramatic shift, which has helped increase the interest in the race that you hold.
Yeah, you're right. The demographics in the schools, period. You can see the military influx. You can see the wide variety of families that are here, and the health consciousness.
Right.
You can really see that. You see them running on the streets in the towns around here. It's just quite a shift from the way it was even 11 years ago.
Talk about who benefits from the race and why you started it in the first place.
Well, I started it for students, really, for the money to go back to teachers and students. The money originally went to Sandhills Farm Life, and then I eventually took it on my own as its own nonprofit and affiliated with the Public Education Foundation, where I sit on the board. So all of the money, every dime that's raised, goes to the Education Foundation, and then we award grants to teachers and students.
You want to brag a little bit about the kind of monies that you have raised over the years? You need to.
Yeah, I mean, I love how much it raises, but in my mind, I always know it can be even bigger. But it's, pretty much a one-man show in a lot of ways, and I know it can be so much bigger, but we typically have about 1,000 participants, and we go a little bit over that even. But I would say even this year we have registrations. We had them earlier than probably ever before, but we typically raise about $20,000 a year and give prize money back to the top 3 participating schools. So that's $1,500 that go back to schools. But then we raise ultimately about $20,000. And so since inception, it's been over $100,000 that we've been able to raise and give back to teachers and schools.
There are a lot of nonprofit organizations in Moore County that might want to sit down and take notes from you as how successful it's been. What are the main ingredients in making a fundraiser in general take hold and gain ground and become almost like an institution where people expect to see it every year now? It's in the back of their minds.
Yeah. First and foremost, I believe you just have to have a heart for it, because it's a lot of work. Right. I mean, there's no, sugarcoating that. It's a lot of work. But if you feel strongly about the purpose, you'll make it happen. Then I would say you've got to attach it to a good cause. There are a lot of great causes out there, but one that people really can get behind around here are schools and the kids, and that's warranted. It's always going to be warranted. There's never enough money to go around. There are always projects that teachers can't complete in their classrooms because the funding isn't there. I mean, that's an age-old problem. So, get behind a cause that really makes sense. And then one of the pieces of advice that was given to me when I first started the race, after probably the first couple of years, and we had a little bit of a shift, was I consider this to be one of the best advices that I've received, was to attach it to a time of year that made people remember it. So an event. Whereas St. Patrick's Day, it made sense for the timing of races around here. There was nothing at the time attached to St. Patrick's Day. And so people remember it at that time of year. They dress up. We have a costume contest. And it just really made sense. It all fit.
It's a piggybacking
Absolutely.
on something that's already been established in our minds.
Yes.
Yeah. 2018 was an incredible year for education in Moore County. Referendums were up for vote. There were funding. We had lots of topics on the show last year about education, about the schools, Moore County schools, and with many of the students on. This is still, you've been doing this well before all of this got to the forefront last year. But you keep just plugging along.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I have a heart for it, and it is a lot of work. But to see it go away would be just tragic to me, because it has become something that people look forward to, and the money raised goes to so many great purposes. I mean, I sit on the board, and the grant requests that we get in are so amazing and varied and important. And without that money, we wouldn't be able to give away nearly as much in grants to teachers as we do. So it's hard to see that, not continue.
People today can go on social media, and there's so many ads, or not ads, but blurbs about how teachers are so underpaid. I think there was a cover of one of the national magazines where they said, I can't pay for this, I can't do this, I have to hold down 2 jobs, and oh, by the way, I'm a teacher. Mm-hmm. Teachers are typically underpaid in Moore County, and recruiters come in and take teachers to different states because the pay scale is so much better.
Yeah, I mean, I have kids ranging from 21 to almost 14.
Your children?
My children, yes. I have twin girls that are graduating this year from Union Pines, and then I have an 8th grader also. And you know, I see some amazing teachers out there,
Right.
and then I see them when they're requesting grant money and their foresight and the things they're trying to do in their classes. And I mean, I admit, I would never have been a good teacher. I trust my kids in their care, and I think that's how a lot of parents see it also, is our teachers are spending so much time with our kids. We try to support them in ways that, any way that we can, really. So this is, one way I feel like I can help to give back. And I'm not the final say on who gets what in grants. It's a collaborative effort, among our board members. But it feels good to sit and listen to what they want, what they need, and to almost always award it.
If you did a cross-section of the people who participated in the race, they're just not parents of students. They run the gambit from young to old.
Yeah, they do. And I see a lot of college students that, come back and are visiting their families and they sign up for it. I see people that actually even plan their vacation or their trip around it, which is amazing to me. There's all ages out there. I mean, I'm always amazed, too, how many in the 70 to 80, age range we even have. That's, exciting.
One of the biggest compliments that you can talk about with the SHAMROCKnROLL race is the event itself has in some ways become bigger than the cause. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way. There are a lot of people who will take part because of the cause it represents, but the event itself sort of has a life of its own, and people will come in to be in it because it's an event. And oh, by the way, the benefit of this event is for teachers.
You're right. There's a lot of people that are just coming to run a race and they don't even realize what they are, contributing to. And, that's encouraging also, that people are looking for a race sometimes, depending on where they're visiting, or, the weekend, they're just looking for something to do. But I will say this also, some years ago, I added a tab really on our online registration site where you can donate specifically to the Public Education Foundation. And some people do that in addition to their registration. Some people probably do it instead of registering if they're not going to run or walk. But I love watching those donations. It goes directly to the Education Foundation, which is really no different than the race proceeds, but people are donating above and beyond a race registration. They see the value in having the money available to be able to reward teachers.
Yeah. And I think that because it's also local, I don't think you have that jaded view by some people. Well, where does the money go? How is it appropriated? It's just a direct contribution and a direct donation.
That's right. It is. It's a direct donation. And speaking of that, as far as race registration fees go, not once in the entire 11 years have I increased registrations. And I get a little bit of pushback from some in the more formal race community about that. That I should raise fees. My race is very, very affordable compared to a lot of races. I also give a $5 discount to any staff, teacher, student in Moore County, regardless of the school, public or private. They all receive a $5 discount. But I just feel very strongly about getting as many there as possible and money not being, a roadblock to them getting there. We raise a lot of money. We can raise more, but I would rather raise more money with more people than by charging the current registrants more money.
Yeah. There are 3 events that you plan: 1 mile, a 5K, and a 10K.
Yes.
And there are 3 registration rates for those: $15, $20, and $25.
Right.
But they get, in addition to participating in the race, what else do they get?
They get, we have prizes at the end for a good number of winners, and they also get a shirt included in there, and they get a race bag with a little bit of goodies in there.
By the way, the T-shirt that you do,
Yes.
over the years watching this? Because when you started this 11 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, your children were from 3 to 10 or 3 to 11.
Right.
About
Yes.
that, right? And you would do T-shirts, and you would put sponsors on the back of the shirt.
Yes.
And people would get the T-shirts. There are so many of those T-shirts around Moore County
Yes.
from all the different years. Some of them are weather-worn. Some of them are fresh and gray and new.
Yes.
But you always see them standing at a coffee shop or wherever. They're all over the place.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because it does catch me by surprise sometimes. I'll be out somewhere and I'll see it and I'll say, hey, that's my race. And I never would go up to anybody and say, I do not like to draw attention to myself. I'm a very low-key, under-the-table player.
Yeah.
At the race, I am not the person that's getting up, doing any announcements. My husband does that. He's better at that than I am. I would rather be behind the scenes. But I love seeing the people with their shirts on. And
Right.
you're right. Some of them look a little ratty at this point.
That's
but
right.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah. It's it's like a silent acknowledgement, like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
look what I've created. Look what I gave
Yes.
birth to.
Right. They like to wear it out in public.
So the event takes up a lot of time. When you do something like this, it's not just you're planning in February for the March event. It's a year-round
Pretty
project.
much, yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. By the time I wrap everything up at the end of, the race is typically around mid-March every year. By the time I wrap everything up, I'm probably mid-April. Then by the time I file any taxes for it, it's a little bit later. Then probably right around October, I really start up in full force again.
Yeah, if people want to go online and register, I'm sure that's been happening already, but where do you send them?
The website for registration is runsignup.com. We also have our website, which is SHAMROCK, the letter N, rollrace.com, and there is a link on there that will also take you to the registration site.
How many people are you expecting this year?
I always say I'm expecting 1,000, but I will be pleasantly surprised with more. Registration forms do go out to schools also. Those will be sent out by courier beginning of February. So students, thousands of those go out. And, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Dr. Grimacy in this also, that, he is on our board. He's also, he comes every year and helps judge the costume contest.
Right.
And, the message I got from him the other day was, this is one of the highlights of my year. And I love that. He has a lot of things he attends. And the fact that he says that just really validates what I'm doing. And when he comes, he's active. He's hugging the kids. He's taking pictures with them. It's great. And he and his wife are personal sponsors of the race, which means a lot to me.
Right.
So he helps me, get everything distributed to schools, and his support is just really invaluable.
The SHAMROCKnROLL RACE is one of the many events that highlights some of the people behind the scenes, like Dr. Grimacy, like you've said. But it showcases Moore County as a county that cares about its students. And parents get that, and people moving into the area get that. There's something Rockwellian about the whole experience, and kind of a warm feeling. Maybe I'm taking it a little, but it projects Moore County in its very best light.
Yeah, it really does. I've said this for many years, and in 21 years living here, moving from Dallas, we have changed dramatically in this county.
Yep.
Yet it still has that hometown feel. I can vouch for the fact it is not a big city. I still go back home. I still go to Dallas. I still go to big cities, and I love coming back here. It's a great place to raise a family.
Right.
I think when you get past, some of the maybe a little bit of a tough age where you're trying to wonder what's my place in this county, you realize it is a great place.
Mm-hmm.
I see on the Facebook page people commenting to their friends saying, oh, we're going to run this together. Let's get our team together. And I just love watching that activity.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something you've given birth to, and you get to watch it grow from afar as well.
Yes.
So the SHAMROCKnROLL RACE is it's established. It's here. It's something people expect. There are different rites of spring. There are different rites during the calendar year that we talk about on the show. Yours is one of them that usually opens up the year, especially when the weather is starting to warm up.
Yes.
And it's just a place to get out and see people maybe you haven't seen for a while. But my question to you is, how do you find the time to do it? I mean, you and your husband are intimately involved, and you're the owner of the Ace hardware store in Southern Pines, right up by the mall near Whispering Pines.
Right.
And recently you took over the building that used to be, was it a breakfast?
The breakfast place is still there,
Okay.
but it was the former Seven Lakes hardware
That's it.
for decades.
That's it.
Yes, so when they closed, we remodeled it and opened our Seven Lakes Ace store there.
What was the thinking behind expanding?
Well, that's a good question. We saw a need out there.
Uh-huh.
Definitely saw a need, and we see that now. You know, the numbers show that the need was there. Gosh, there was a lot behind it, really. We're in the we have an entrepreneurial spirit,
Yeah.
I guess, put it that way, and we see where there are some gaps in this county and in some surrounding counties that we may be able to fill. To be able to service, people a little bit better. So, we're always thinking in the expansion mode, tempering that with our time and, making the right move at the right time. But the timing was right there, and we're glad we moved.
Had you had retail experience prior to this?
0.
My goodness.
Yeah. Other than the fact that for over 20 years we've owned a wholesale business.
Right.
So we know what we see when we sell to our customers. So we actually, now having about 3 years under our belt, we can really see the both sides of the equation there, which actually benefits us considerably. The wholesale side we've been able to really, really capitalize on that because we know the wholesale side.
Yeah. You've also made it a very intimate experience because you have a lot of people, especially in the Southern Pines store, and I say Southern Pines / Whispering Pines, that who have worked there personally.
Yes.
As opposed to just interviewing on the blind.
Yes. We have roughly 70 employees between the two stores, and that is one of the things our employees, honestly, we had other stores from other larger cities who were stunned that we were able to secure the kind of employees that we have. One of them is my neighbor, lives behind me. We have people we've known for years who work for us.
Right.
Some of the guys from Whispering Pines that love to tinker on their own stuff come and work for us, and they're they don't necessarily need the jobs. They're just doing it for something to do, and they're invaluable. Their knowledge is fabulous. So I would say that our pool of employees really is unrivaled. We are so fortunate with them.
Yeah. If we look at your business as a springboard, just for other things, I mean, in the community, and you look at the race, the event that you do for 11 years, I've got to believe that the combination of the two help one another or help the race out.
Yeah, I think so too. We are a major sponsor, ACES, of the race, and naturally I would insist that happened. But ACE is a place where we have packet pickup. But it really, all of us, myself, my husband Randy, and my sister-in-law Kathy, who is also an owner with us, we are very community-minded. We truly believe that giving back rewards us in so many other ways. We were a major sponsor of Habitat this year by helping them get all their fasteners and working deals to get them the best deals. And we loved that part of it. We love being able to give back to the community. We do a roundup sometimes on our cash registers where you can round up to the next dollar so we can give it back to the PTAs. that's just really important to us. So yeah, it was a perfect fit, really.
Yeah. Going back to the Shamrock and Roll Race briefly, it emanates from the Whispering Pines Police Station. That's a start point.
Yes.
It's the 11th annual, 1,000 participants. Goodness. And the first place, second place, and third place prizes, do you have them set up? How do you have all the prizes set up?
Well, quite a few different ones, actually. The medals are awarded to the top 3 participants in each category. So, for instance, there are males and females. I believe it's 12 and under.
Yeah.
Then it goes, no, it's 11 and under. Then it goes 12 to 19, 20, 29, and so forth. So that's the same for males and females, 3 awarded in each category. Then there's overall male, female. And then this is where schools really get excited here is, money talks. Cash is great. So the top 3 participating schools, percentage-wise, receive $750, $450, and $300.
Right.
And that is a job all in itself, is to really watch who's signing up for which schools, because I try to be as fair as I can be.
Right.
I really see
Right.
who's a parent, and I'd love to award it to parents, but to make it as fair as possible, I look at only staff members and students who sign up for the school, and then they get the money, and they can do whatever they want with that money.
Kudos to you for getting the race to this point, and you do it for the love of the community. You're just sharing. There's nothing else in it other than the fact that you're the mother of the event, and you get to see your baby each year grow.
Right.
More and more people benefit every year, and yeah, it's part of a little bit of a legacy. You're probably too young to get that, but trust me, you are. That is what it is. I just made a post the other day about something that happened 20 years ago here in the area. And something came up this week that kind of got me back in touch with that event. And it made me realize how fast 20 years goes. It seems like yesterday.
Yes.
You only get one trip around, one opportunity. This is something, trust me, you will look back on and go, it will just give you a good feeling.
Yes, you're right. You're right. It goes very, very quickly.
Oh, my.
And one thing I'd be remiss if I didn't really mention this, that I am in such a unique situation with the Village of Whispering Pines, where so many communities face a lot of difficulties and roadblocks getting approval for road closures, the financial aspect of it, all of those things that come into play. But Whispering Pines is just a gem to work with. They donate porta-johns for me, which isn't anything glamorous, but that's a large expense. So anyway, they're amazing. The police are amazing. The fire department. There are so many people that volunteer their time that day.
Yeah. This year's event is going to be on March the 16th.
Right.
What time does everybody get together to start?
The first race starts at 8:15. That's the 1 mile, and then we stagger from there. So,
okay, we'll make sure that we get all this information posted for people who want to sign up. And every year, you're talking to a new audience with all the new people moving into town too.
True.
So everyone who knows the Shamrock and Roll Race, that's one contingency. But then there's all the new people who are coming into town. It might be the first time they've ever heard about it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Good luck with your business.
Thank you.
Try to find more than 24 hours in each day so you can get by.
Yeah, thank you.
And we hope it's a very successful event. Shamrock and Roll Race coming up March 16th, about 6 weeks away. Plenty of time to register. And as always, each year we hope for that first hint of spring day as opposed to
any snow or ice.
Or heat.
Yeah, that's the truth. We've had all kinds.
It runs a gambit.
It does.
Jill Saunders, good to see you.
Thank you.
This is All Things Moore County, and we will speak with you next week. Thank you.